Join us today for an update for GenCon 2025. This will be a late January 2025 update. Welcome to Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bobbie.
I'm Chad.
And today we're going to be talking about GenCon 2025. We're recording this towards the end of January in 2025, as there is a lot of information out there now, so we've got enough to talk about. So, probably roughly in order of importance, we have the badges are going to go on sale Sunday, February 9th at noon.
Yep.
Eastern time. Looks like a pre-tax cost of a 4-day badge is going to be $155, which is up from last year. I know it is
a little bit, and that is U.S. dollars.
Yes, U.S. dollars.
The website also makes note that Marion County charges a 10% tax.
Yeah.
Because of attendance tax or something like that. So you're looking at like $160.
Well, 10% would be $15.50. That'd be $170.
Yeah, you're looking at $170.
Yeah.
After taxes.
Yeah, assuming that's the only tax. I don't remember right offhand if that is, but so that's where you're at. Last year it was $140 something, if I remember right. So that's not a super unreasonable price raise. You know,
and then how you get your badge, you can do will call, which is it opens Wednesday, July 30th at noon.
Yeah, I guess I should mention that too right up front. The show will be Thursday, July 31st through Sunday, August 3rd.
Yep.
That's a Thursday to a Saturday. There is a Wednesday portion, but that's the trade show day. We've never gone to it because we're not part of a business of any kind.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think educators are allowed in there at that point too, something like that. So I have no idea what actually happens on Wednesday.
Nope.
But anyway, so it's Thursday to Sunday, and technically it starts at 10 a.m. Thursday, but I know that there's events scheduled before that because we've had one before.
Yeah.
But it does end at 4 p.m. Sunday. So between those hours, theoretically, it's just going. Now, there's not going to be a lot of events at like 3 in the morning, but there's going to be a few. And
96 hours straight of gaming if you can pull it off.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, there's the unofficial events. Like Werewolf that they've got chairs set up for, but there are actually events in the catalog that, like 3 and 4 in the morning.
Or if you want to sit in the hallway and play a pickup game of Magic the Gathering, go right ahead.
Yep. So anyway, like I said, the badges go on sale Sunday, February 9th at noon. Now, okay, Chad mentioned the will call line. The other option is to have them mailed to you, and I cannot stress this enough. If you live in the United States, I strongly recommend that option.
Or you will be standing for hours in line.
Yes. Alternatively, if you're not going with that option, get there Wednesday and get them sometime.
Yes. Wednesday, sometime after noon.
After noon, yeah.
And then will call is open until 2 a.m. Thursday morning.
Yeah, now I've heard from people in the past, we've never made it up there early enough to see this, but I've heard from people in the past that early on, like around noon to say about 3 or 4, there's actually not a huge line.
Look,
it apparently develops right around the time we typically go down there, which is like 6, 7 o'clock.
Because we're lucky if we're leaving your house by noon.
Yeah. So anyway, something to consider. Now, I say if you're in the United States because I don't know what kind of trials and tribulations you're going to go through having it mailed to you in a foreign country.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I don't endorse it there.
I mean, it ships United States Postal System service, whatever, for $15 flat rate.
Yes. So
you will get it.
Yeah, you sure will.
However, if you do not, and the postal system confirms it was lost because of them, GenCon will replace your badge free of charge.
Yeah.
It is not free if you ordered it. It showed up, confirmed delivered, and then gets lost.
No, it's not free if you do that. As we found out last year.
Well, not you.
Well, I mean,
mine didn't get lost.
Well, sure, but I didn't lose mine. Like that was.
It was
that was a friend, and it was an honest mistake.
Yeah. So what are you doing this year?
I haven't decided yet.
Are you sending it to our friend? Are you sending it to your place? Or are you going to send it to me where day one when I get it, I typically, put everything in my suitcase?
Yeah, see, I don't know. I've got to decide. See, I've had a string of 17 years where I had it mailed to me, and I never lost them.
And 1 year where you had it mailed to someone else and it got lost.
Yeah, so I don't know if I want to rock the boat and mail it to you. Because things were working fine whenever I mailed it to myself. Because I just put them in a safe I have at the house.
They just go in my suitcase.
Yeah. So anyway, so the reason that, so there's a few reasons why the date you're buying your badge matters. The main reason being the housing portal.
So long as you have the badge bought by the housing portal opening.
Yes.
Some of my friends last year waited till the day the housing portal opened and got in before someone who bought it before.
I'm actually surprised they shouldn't have been able to get into it. Because I could have sworn last year you were supposed to have them by the Friday before.
Or they bought it later on.
Okay.
And I had a friend who bought it that day.
Yeah, well that's a random lottery.
I know.
Okay, so to elaborate on the whole housing portal situation, there are only so many hotel rooms downtown Indianapolis,
mm-hmm.
and only so many connected to the convention center, mm-hmm. and this, that, and the other.
They're working on it, though.
Yes, they are building more hotels. So what happens is, if you decide to engage in the housing portal, that's how you can get your room cheaper than you would get it if you were to just try to reserve it through the hotel directly. Also, if you try to reserve it through the hotel directly, I have heard all kinds of horror stories for the last 2 decades of people they'd reserve a room the day GenCon ended for the next year, and then 2 days beforehand, the hotel's oh, sorry, your room got canceled.
We overbooked for this busy weekend, and you're the one we picked to cancel.
Right. So I've never heard that with people going through the portal, however. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure if people started complaining about that through the portal, GenCon would be going, something fishy here.
There'd be torches and pitchforks, and everyone would be dressed as a commoner. But yeah, so if you're going to get a hotel room downtown, this is the cheaper route, however you're engaged in a lottery system.
Yep.
So long as you have your badge, does it say here?
Registration begins February 23rd at noon.
Yeah.
That's Sunday.
Oh, okay. So I thought last year, so don't assume it's going to be like that this year, but I thought last year it was you had to have your badge bought by the Friday before so that you would be in the system. So obviously I would advise you do that anyway if you're going to do this. So then on Sunday, you log in at noon. You better be there 12:00, and that 1 second is going to totally screw you.
It is.
So you're going to log in. It's going to look like the system's trying to crash, because it is.
Because everybody's logging in.
Because everyone's logging in. And you're going to be assigned a time. And if it's more than, say, 2 hours out,
you might as well give up.
You are probably out of luck getting a room downtown. In fact, if it's more than an hour out, you probably are. But don't fret, because every year, people say you've got a group of 4 people, all of them will try to log in. 3 of them will wind up somehow getting rooms, and then you only need 1, so 2 of them will drop out. So if you don't get the room you like, like keep an eye out because rooms open up, but it's the Wild West at that point. It's sporadic. You don't know when it's going to happen. Unless you find someone on the forums that's like, hey, I've got a room, something's happened, I got to get rid of it, and then you figure out how you trade them. I don't know how one does that, but so that will happen Sunday, February 23rd at noon. So that is 2 weeks after the badges go on sale. So if you're not going through the housing portal, then you don't need to buy your badge until like May.
Yeah.
So that's up to you at that point, because on the one hand, you just have it done and over with, and you'd avoid any chance of the sellout, which it will not sell out instantly. This isn't one of those types of shows. It could theoretically sell out before that May date, because last year did sell out, but it sold out like a week before, 2 weeks before the show. But there was nothing special about last year, so this could be a trend going forward. So it's something to be advised about. However, GenCon is really good at communicating. It'd be like, hey, if these sales trends continue, we have X number of badges left. We assume they're going to last approximately this many days. Like, they will send emails out to that effect. If you're not getting a hotel room, in my opinion, there's no need to rush. Again, unless you just want to get it done and over with. But if you don't, then the date you need to be concerned with is Sunday, May 18th at noon. That's when event registration opens up. That's when you can actually register for the events. So you do want to have your badge done by that point if you plan on getting in any events. And again, make sure that you actually get it before that date.
Yeah, because the big ticket, big name events sell out quickly.
Yeah.
And you cannot actually get in to register for events without having a valid badge for that year.
Right. So there, what you're going to run into is events like True Dungeon. The times will get gobbled up really fast for that, even though I'm sure they're going to raise their prices again this year. And
good thing the one must go see for me every year is free.
Yeah, the costume contest is free, but those 600 tickets don't last long either.
Nope.
And also with event registration, not all of the events will be in the system when it opens up. About half to 2/3 will be, but more will trickle in, usually in groups, as it goes on. And we'll do a video closer to event registration about that, but just keep that date in mind. Now, right now, event submissions are ongoing.
The early event submissions are ongoing until February 2nd.
Yeah.
And and then I believe it's from the 2nd to the 9th, March 9th, not February 9th. You can continue to submit events. It's just you don't get the early one. Prime areas for them?
That's what I'm assuming. I have no experience with the vendor side of things, an event side. So, okay, so there was an important thing that we skipped over in the hotel thing. So in years past, when you've gotten rooms in the hotel block, you had to get 3 nights, I believe.
3 night minimum.
You had to get Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yep.
For most of the hotels. So this year, most or all of them are...
all but one through the housing portal are 4 nights. You have to get Wednesday night, Saturday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
Yeah. So the one exception, though, is...
a 5-day minimum where it's Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. Which I don't understand. Why not axe the Tuesday night requirement and go with Sunday night?
Yeah.
Give them a chance to avoid the rush getting out.
Well, it's probably something to do with... It's probably because the block interferes with anyone else doing anything else. Because, if you're going to Indianapolis, for any stretch of that week, they're not going to be like, oh, let's book 2 nights here because we can't book Wednesday onward. So they're like, well, since it's depriving us of our business, you're going to get the Tuesday night room too. You know what I mean?
Just have them leave Wednesday morning.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
If I had to guess, that's the impetus for this.
By the way, the one requiring the 5-day or 5-night room is the Indianapolis Marriott Downtown Hotel, which I believe is the one that is directly adjacent to the convention center.
Marriott. Is that the big blue one?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think that's the one with direct skybridge access to the convention center.
Well, if it's the blue one, it's not, because the blue one you gotta go to the parking garage and then over. So unless the Marriott is one of the ones that's right across, I never stay in the hotel, so I don't remember the names of them. There's the one that we occasionally have events in. I thought that one started with an O.
It is the Indianapolis Marriott, right across from the convention center.
Okay, so what's the one at the end of the blue one at the end of the street though? The blue is the blue one, the JW Marriott. Is that why it's that way?
Yeah, the JW.
Okay, so sorry, I'm thinking of the JW Marriott because that could never ever be confused for the Marriott.
Yeah, but yeah, there is direct skybridge access from the Indianapolis Marriott downtown to the convention center, I do believe.
Is there another hotel to the?
Well, the Weston's to the
Westin.
east of it.
The Weston's the one I'm thinking of. The Weston we occasionally have events in.
And then there's the parking to the west.
So yeah, and then eventually we'll have some others that are actually like directly connected once they, well, we'll know in a few weeks when we go up there for, well, I will anyway, when we go up there for Indiana Comic Con.
Yep.
I can see if they've filled in the crater yet where the where the Pan Am Plaza used to be. So, but yeah, we'll do an update then too. I'll get some pictures and stuff. But anyway, back on track. So yes, the Marriott, the one directly across, is the one that's forcing you to get Tuesday as well.
Yes, and then the housing portal will close at 11:59 p.m. Monday, July the 14th.
Yep.
Then the hotels get their list of who all's got a room, reservation, or cards are charged that you're using for it at that point, and they send out room confirmations at that point too.
Yeah. Now, we'll probably talk about this more in a different video, but there's plenty of other hotels if you're willing to either drive a little bit or get a cab or get an Uber or carpool with some other people, because if you're at a hotel elsewhere, you will see other people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were years past where Chris and I stayed at my sister's house in Avon, and like we ran into people from the convention at the White Castle out in Avon. I have no idea where they were staying, but like, I mean, you know, they were the only other people in the White Castle.
We've been to Greenwood on nights after we get done at GenCon, and there's people there from the convention.
Yeah.
They have their badges, or it's clearly, you know, dressed to...
Yeah, you mean whenever you ran across the table full of Battletech people?
There's that too.
And as well as like, well, this is either an amazing coincidence, or it's Battletech night at the Game Preserve, or they're here for the convention.
Yeah.
So there's other places like Indianapolis has a like where the city and the county are one and the same. So the moment you leave the county, Marion County, you're in another city technically. So like Greenwood and Avon and all these others they're literally just one street outside of.
Yep.
You know, the street just continues and then you're in another city. So
there's the border between Greenwood and Indy is literally County Line Road.
Yes. So we stay with a friend in Greenwood, and you know, driving in isn't a problem. It takes us 12 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Maybe
20 because we usually get food.
Okay, but I mean like the actual driving. Like
the actual drive is like a 12 to 15 minute drive with Chris's driving.
Yeah. And then we find out which city street they decided to tear up again this summer, right in the middle of everything.
Yep.
They'll be done with downtown at some point this century, I think. Then,
No, because when they get done, they got to start over again.
well, yeah, of course. So there's plenty of other places. Plus, the airport is in. Well, I think the airport. No, the airport's outside of 465. So, no, but is it inside the County Line Road? I don't know right offhand if the airport's inside the city or not, but that's irrelevant. The airport sits right next to I-70, which, as long as it's not under construction or something, will take you almost straight downtown.
Yep.
So there are hotels out at the airport and a plain field like 2 miles down the road from the airport. Sarah and I stayed there one year for like $50 a night. Now, we did have to pay for our room through bulletproof glass, and we weren't entirely certain we were going to wake up in the morning, but it all worked out. Had decent food for breakfast, though. I'll give them that. I got the room like a week before the show. Through the housing portal, if I remember right.
Wow.
So anyway, the point is there's hotels out there, and there's nice hotels too, because there's a lot of airport traffic, and some of those are like a bunch of suites and things like that. So if you have a group and you don't get the hotel room downtown, as long as you're willing to drive back and forth or Uber or something, there's options.
Pick one person who becomes the driver. Make sure they're the bravest driver out of the bunch. The one more than willing to merge if there's questionable room.
Yeah, 465 can be exciting if you choose to go that route.
Yeah.
So
exciting's the word to use there.
Sure is. I took my cousin up there for an appointment one time, and he's kind of pseudo terrified of traffic like that. So we get going, and I put in a heavy metal CD, and he's like, "What is this? What are you doing? This makes it worse." I go, "No, this makes it awesome. Hang on." So anyway, there's something going on with Gate 10 parking. I don't fully know what else is going on there. I know last year there was some one of their lots got bought or something, and so they couldn't park people. I think it's the one at the end, by Lucas Oil where we parked before.
That one got sold?
Yeah, something happened to it. So it started parking people at the zoo.
That's a little far away.
That is a little far away. And
no offense, the one we'd gotten before was really, really nice.
Yeah,
it was just south of Lucas Oil Stadium. It's little 4 or 5 minute walk. I mean, at the end of the day, that walk's excruciating. But
at the end of the day, I'm inclined to take the bus.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if you're going to go through Gate 10 parking, all I'm saying is I don't know for sure if that's the situation, but definitely check it out before you dive into it, assuming it's not sold out already. But there are other places to park. You can park in the Lucas Oil parking lot. There's a gated section you can park in there.
We never get there early enough to park.
Which means you'll also be really close to the food trucks, because I'm sure they're staying where they were.
Yeah.
That might become just a permanent thing even once they open the hotel, because a lot of people seem to prefer them over there.
I like it there. I like that they have the block party there instead of closing off Georgia Street.
Yeah.
Because it is, clearly not a street you're in.
Right.
And I know it's blocked off, but I still have that little one half-blind person turning down this street, and we're in for it.
Right, and that street they block off, I think, just leads to a parking lot. So, even if it were open, it doesn't get a ton of traffic. So there shouldn't be, that Chad's nightmare scenario is far less likely to happen there.
This day and age, it's not too crazy.
Yeah. So there's parking there. There's parking in the mall garages, assuming that all that's still open, because the mall is on life support.
Yeah,
it has been sold. It's actually going to be turned into a living space of some kind,
living spaces and an open air shopping center.
That's what the drawing showed. But we'll see what actually happens. But the key word there was living spaces, which might mean some opportunity for Airbnb type scenarios really close to the convention center. Just throwing that out there.
Hopefully they keep the food court.
Dude, the food court's dead. The place that always had the free samples for the Chinese food's gone, which sucks because it had good bourbon chicken. The Italian place is still there though. The one in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's decent food.
See, I can understand the Chinese place being closed because there was a lot of food for very little.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's like another Chinese place that's like $1 more right there. That's so I think it's the same food and everything.
It's go to break the wallet.
But Chick-fil-A's gone.
What?
Well, they took the Chick-fil-A out of there and they opened a location downtown.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll try to. I'll get the lay of the land whenever I go to Comic-Con and see if there's any kind of updates on like layout, if like a parking garage has been demolished or something. But there are other places to park. You have to forgive me that I'm not going to mention some of them because like this is similar to the if you know the good bathroom, you don't tell anybody about it because you want it to stay the good bathroom.
I mean, you can mention the place that's hit or miss.
Well, I mean, we can do that, but like by process of elimination, they might figure out which one's the good one. Because there's 3 that I consider the good ones. The amazing thing is one's right in the middle of everything, just no one goes into it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which one, but I'll tell Brian if he asks so.
Brian, you're special.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Apparently.
I tell you what, folks. If you go to GenCon and you come up and talk to us, I will tell you which ones are the good ones in person. Okay? I'll make that deal to you right now. Hopefully we'll have t-shirts by then. I'm trying to sort that out.
Wait, Geek Cabal t-shirts?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I need to get a hold of the guy that did the logo and make one alteration to it, and then try to get some t-shirts, even if I just got to go through like Redbubble or something. Because I'm thinking like the logo on the front, like QR code on the back for the channel, you know.
For us, maybe.
Yeah, I'm talking for us. I mean, we'll sell them if other people want to wear them around, fine. But
I mean,
as long as they don't wear them like a crime scene or something. But
yeah, can we include the actual name of the channel with the QR code, like maybe above and below it?
I would think we could. I mean, there's all kinds of videos on here about how to like set up T-shirts for like online printing stuff. So I'm sure I'll figure it out somehow.
I like this idea. What color are they going to be?
Black, just like the logo.
Okay, can I suggest navy?
I mean, we could have it in a couple of the colors, I'm sure.
Because navy is a popular T-shirt color.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll once I see where we're gonna have them printed and everything, I'll get back to you. I mean, because I suppose push comes to shove, I'll just get them printed in town. If it's just for me, you, and Jimmy.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So, there is one other thing. I mean, there's plenty of other things, but like...
That we're covering right now.
Yeah. Because we are going to... I said we were going to do this last year, and we kind of half-assed did this, but I do want us to go back and kind of redo our tips and tricks and whatnot for Gen Con, recommendations, things like that. But we're going to need to watch our existing videos. Right now, it always said there, figure out what's important, what's not, and kind of...
Some things we might have changed our opinions on.
Streamline it a little bit. Maybe Chad will interrupt me at the very beginning again to remind you guys to bring a hat, so don't forget to bring a hat.
It's important. Bring the hat.
And sunblock.
Yeah.
Hey,
if you have the hat, you don't need sunblock.
yeah, what about the back of your neck? Unless you're wearing like a Panama hat.
Panama hat.
What if you're not going there to look like John Hammond?
Then you wear a fedora
To look like
with a
Jones.
messenger bag and a whip.
All right. Fair enough, Chad. Fair enough. All right. So last year I meant to mention this, but by the time I got around to it, it had already like closed. But there is a thing here. What was it actually called? The participation grant?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll try to link this down in the description. So there's a thing where if you are part of an underrepresented community, a historically underrepresented community, that but you have an interest in gaming and you have a let's see here. Let's see. I'm just going to read what it says. Help make the best 4 days in gaming, that'd be GenCon, even better by bringing your perspective and passion for tabletop gaming to GenCon Indy. Learn about the latest games and trends to share with your gaming community back home or online. Participation grants are awarded based on a submitted application and review process. So, you're going to submit an application, which that opens up, here real soon, right? Here's already open.
I don't think...
Hold on, right down there under how to apply. There were key dates.
Here you go.
Yeah. Okay, so the application submission is... Yeah, that's already open.
Yeah, it's already open.
So the application submission period's already open, and it closes February 10th. Then the week of March 3rd, recipients will be notified, they'll be contacted. Well, you're going to be contacted either way, whether they accept it or not. And then May 13th is when the stipend payment process will begin. So the idea is they're going to give you a 4-day badge and a stipend of
$550 US.
$550 US. And so here's what they're kind of shooting for is whenever they say a gaming or gaming adjacent community, these broadly include but are not limited to activities at your local game store, business interests like an aspiring game designer, publisher, game store owner, or other industry aspirant. I think that's how you pronounce that.
Aspirant?
Yeah, it's one of the two, I think. Or we're both wrong, I don't know. I've got a joke about that here in a second. Social media reach, active streamer, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, presumably. Gaming group, online or offline, local, school, place of worship, club, community center, etc. Other groups like cosplay, video game, LARPing, because it's all kind of tangentially related, and a lot of that happens there too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, what did I say there? Yeah. Okay, and then Black, Indigenous, and other people of color are strongly encouraged to apply. But I don't see anything saying it's limited to those people. So, but that's, they're obviously, because for better or worse, if you've never been to Gen Con, it is predominantly white people. I mean, that's just the way it is. Predominantly male, predominantly white. A lot of near our age, although I've seen a lot of younger people the last few years.
A lot of older people too.
Yeah, a lot of older people too. So, this is a push for diversity, and just we wanted to mention it here because, as we have mentioned on the channel before, we don't have a problem with diversity.
No.
Whenever we talk about stuff in movies, that's because we know they're doing it for brownie points for people that don't watch their stuff. Okay, this is different. So
this seems like they're trying to get people that are interested in it, but possibly wouldn't go to go.
Yeah. And so now, one major thing here, in case you didn't catch it when I was covering all that, they do not supply you with a hotel room.
Nope. Rules and guidelines even call that out. You are responsible for making your own housing arrangements.
Yeah, so go ahead and read that part right there.
Housing. If you need housing, it is recommended that you purchase a 4-day badge before housing registration opens, February, to gain access to our housing portal. If your application is accepted and you are awarded a grant, the purchased 4-day badge will be fully refunded in the manner it was purchased.
Yeah. So that's their advice on the matter, because by March, there definitely won't be any hotels connected left unless you just find one that randomly pops up.
Yep.
Which, again, as I said earlier, does happen.
Very rare.
But at that point, you're definitely in the sketchy part. Now, if you are a person that couldn't afford the badge to begin with, and this is your hope, I don't want to generalize here too much, but you probably also don't have the money laying around for a hotel downtown, because the average, and a lot of these are way above the average, is $300 a night.
Yep.
And especially now you're looking at 4 nights, it's $1,200. So before taxes, because there are also taxes on that stuff too. So I dare say that you would probably be looking outside the housing port, or at least outside of downtown anyway. Some of the other hotels I mentioned, you don't have to go for the kind of seedy one that I mentioned earlier. Like, there are nice hotels outside of downtown also, and they're far cheaper than they would be downtown because they're not connected. So
you can do what Brad did the one year.
Yeah, I mean, if you, although I kind of crapped on Gate 10 a minute ago, if you have like an RV or a bigger van or something, like, they have parking for those too.
Yep.
You know, and then you just want to find some way to deal with like taking a shower, which, like, Brad had a gym membership, but like around 465 there are larger truck stops that also have showers that, you pay, and for those who don't know, you pay a price, you go back, you get a certain amount of time, you take your shower and do your thing. So
or you just use a bunch of body spray.
Well, I would endorse,
axe it out.
I would endorse people taking a shower, or at the very least, like,
a bird bath.
Go, like, bring a wash rag and go to one of the bathrooms and, like, at the very least wash your pits and stuff. Like, I mean, hey, it seems to work for the, how shall I put this? The housingly challenged individuals around Indianapolis who tend to take up residence in some of the restrooms at various points. This is over in the mall, by the way, so that's another little thing. I wouldn't use the restrooms in the mall food court. Last time I went in there, like, a door was missing on one stall. There was a gentleman who was just sitting there, like, washing his hands and, like, clearly taking up both spots and, like, wasn't budging for me to get the paper towels or the soap. And I was just like, all right then. Well, I'll just leave you to this. And then there's a gentleman sleeping outside in the hallway next to it. So, don't let any of that scare you, though, by the way. Indianapolis is not nearly as bad as a lot of other major cities on this front. There are homeless people outside sometimes. And there's a few places that they congregate. But I've never heard of any, like violently aggressive people like that. So
I haven't seen anyone go up there.
And I've heard, and a handful of them, like, how sometimes people would be out there playing music, for tips and things, and some of them were at least smart enough to play music from Star Wars whenever the convention's in town.
Yeah.
So, and some of them weren't bad. A few of them I've felt I probably should have given them money at some point. But yeah, so that's kind of a dark subject that we're not really going to go stupidly into, because it's a major city. This is what you deal with in major cities, but it's not a huge overblown problem like it is in some other cities. So, and also just in general, like in the core of Indianapolis, the city where everything is, I don't believe we have like above average violent crime or anything. Like, I've heard of like one shootout downtown, but that was years and years ago. So,
and they had it mostly patched up by GenCon.
Yeah. So, like, you don't really have those things, and I've never heard any people really talk about them heavily on the forums. And given what I hear about other conventions, I think I would have, because DragonCon every year has all kinds of fun stories because it's in Atlanta, and well, Atlanta kind of is a shooting gallery sometimes, I'm given to understand. So, anyway, I don't want to cast aspersions on Atlanta. I've never been there personally, but that's just what I hear. So anyway, that's that on the grant. So, if you think you qualify, I mean, go for it. The worst they can do is to say no. So
yeah, worst they can do is say no. The best they can do is give you a free 4-day room and $550, which you will have to fill out a W-9 form, because
you will have to fill
the
out
U.S. IRS system might need that declared.
Yeah, so there's that. Also, I shouldn't have to say this, but just in case, they do expect you to show up and to use the money at the convention or for convention expenses, which is basically anything.
Like room and board.
Like room and board. I don't know, go to Fogo one night. I don't know, live it up.
One night? You could go to Fogo every night for that.
Well, I'm assuming that, like, if this is your only way to get there, that you're probably going to be using most of the money, like, at the show or, like, your other meals. So, like, you have your one big shindig, because, like, hey, someone gave you money, you might as well eat at one really nice restaurant one time.
And Fogo is really nice.
Yes.
Especially if you go Saturday for lunch.
Yeah.
It's like $50 a person, and
yeah, but it's all you can eat steak. So,
and if you go early enough at the lunchtime, brunch is still going.
The waffle bar and the omelet bar. Have any of us ever actually gotten an omelet?
I don't go to Fogo for an omelet.
I'm just saying, like, have any of us ever actually gotten one?
No.
Like I keep threatening to, but like then I like see the meat and I'm like, I can't eat eggs with this.
Yeah, I go to Fogo for all you can eat meat
That's
and
it.
getting some stuff off of the bar. And all you can eat of that smoked mozzarella with honey on it that you turn down every time.
I just don't like it. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not a big cheese person, Chad.
I'm just hoping this year they have the pineapple. That'd be nice.
Pineapple's good. I could do with them bringing around the is it like the garlic prime rib.
That's good.
Or was it prime rib or is it ribeye? I think it's ribeye.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's
the lamb is good there. Just get it early in the meal.
Yeah.
If not, it sits on top of everything else.
You guys and your superstitious lamb eating. I just eat it when it comes out.
You burp lamb for like the next 4 hours afterwards, don't you?
Doesn't matter, Chad. You've seen me before. Like those things do not inconvenience me.
That's just true.
Like you can ask Sarah. Like I'm just an eating machine.
Yeah. I mean, either way, early in the meal, late in the meal, the lamb is good. The Parmesan pork chops are good.
That is the one thing I just don't care for there. The Parmesan's just too strong for me. Like Chris loves it, but that's the one thing I turn down. Yeah, I know.
What about the garlic Parmesan chicken?
I like garlic Parmesan chicken.
But you don't like...
It's something to do with the Parmesan and the pork coming together. I don't know. It's like how I don't like things that have like ranch and like cheese, like shredded cheese in it. Because like they don't mix at all.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, I mean like physically, like they just like slide apart, you know, to like taste them both at the same time, not together, but it's like separate tastes, and it's just not quite the reaction you when I ate sour cream the one time.
This is true. That was hilarious. We'd gotten done with classes for the day, right?
Yeah, that's coming back from.
We were commuting together. We got Taco Bell. Bobbie don't like sour cream. He got his without sour cream. I love sour cream, so we got our beefy 5 layers mixed up.
No, I think they just put sour cream on both of them.
Yeah, they might have.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Watching him eat it was hilarious. Especially since he was the one driving.
Which is terrible because like as like low quality as Taco Bell is, like no one has any expectations of Taco Bell.
This is
like,
true.
Like they very rarely screw up my order. Like McDonald's, like it's like 1 out of 2 McDonald's screws something up. But like Taco Bell, like it's rare that they actually screw up my orders. You know? But it always has to do with sour cream. Like that's without fail, because it's the only thing I get different. Or like the one time that I got a quesadilla where they just randomly added sour cream.
To a quesadilla.
Yeah, it was within like the first 6 months when they started serving them, like 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and actually, what is this, 2025? Because it was in the year 2000 they started serving them. I can tell you how I know that later, but yeah, like I got one. I was like, God, what the hell happened to this one? I'm looking into like, oh God, this is sour cream. Like this isn't supposed to be in here. And I asked like the next time we're one, can I get that without sour cream? We don't put sour cream. And I was like, well.
Someone did. There was one day I got a breakfast quesadilla when I was working at Harbor Freight, because 4 a.m. truck, you get off at 8 to go get lunch.
Yeah.
Where else are you going to go? McDonald's? You get tired of McDonald's.
I like Burger King's breakfast.
They put their Chipotle something or other on the breakfast quesadilla that day.
It was like the spicy ranch.
Yeah, it was just something they didn't put on their breakfast quesadillas, and it's just like, why is this on here?
Yeah.
This almost ruins it. Almost, I say almost because I was hungry and I wasn't going to let food go to waste.
So yeah, I think that's all we got right now as far as Gen Con stuff. I don't know. Is there anything we know that's... Oh, sorry. There is actually one other bit of information. And I should probably edit this and put it like 10 minutes ago because we've just been rambling here.
No. This is the reward for them surviving the rambling.
Okay. This is the Emerald City at the end of the Yellow Brick Road here.
Yeah.
All right. So now that you've survived the flying monkeys and the trees and the weird mechanical bird that you can only see in the widescreen version of the movie...
What?
I went to go, like a year ago, I went to go watch Wizard of Oz in a theater.
Yeah.
And like right after she gets attacked by the trees, I think, like where the Tin Man is or something, like somewhere right in there, there's a building. But there's like this mechanical bird that's on the left-hand side of the screen that you can't see in the regular version of the movie. Because I saw it, I was like, what the hell is that?
What?
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, by the way, folks, just a total side note, if you ever get a chance to see that in a theater, it's a gorgeous movie. Especially if you can see it with Leonard Maltin doing his intro at the beginning. The guy knows what he's talking about. And yeah, also, not very often you get to hear the word zenith used in conversation. But especially if you're not talking about the TVs from the 80s. So anyway, the places like True Dungeon are already taking applications for people to come and help them at the show, and through them, depending on how many days you work and everything, you can get a free room that way. I don't know if they actually pay you. I think legally they have to now, because a couple of years ago, I think the IRS cracked down on that whole like, oh, you're just giving them stuff and not money, and then you're claiming that stuff is worth the market value on your taxes, but like it actually cost you like 10 cents to make it. Like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. The IRS does not like things like that.
Just give me the badge. Don't give me money.
Well...
Badge and hotel room.
Okay, now I don't know if this in particular would apply to, say, WizKids, but I think the idea was like some companies like WizKids. Again, I don't know if it applies to them specifically, so I'm not calling them out here. I want to be crystal clear on that. I have plenty of other issues I can call them out on. This isn't one of them. Like at the end of the show, you would get like a bunch of the promos.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then they would write them off on their taxes as a cost, and but they would price them at their market value, not the like 20 cents it cost them to actually make them.
But by giving it away, that's the money they're out.
Well, no, they're only out like let's say it's...
No, by giving that to someone, they are not making that money. So to them, they are out that money.
No, I don't mean like say they sell them for $15. I don't mean $15. I mean like say they are worth like $100 on eBay.
They were claiming the $100.
That's what I'm given to understand. And again, people didn't name companies. I'm just using WizKids as an example here. They probably didn't do it.
Kinda.
Because from their perspective, they're claiming that's what they paid those people. Because you're really going to sit there and say, oh, you worked for me for 4 days. Here's promos that cost $75 at retail. Thanks.
Free badge, downtown hotel room, maybe.
Yeah, but that's also just like cost of having a worker there, you know. And so that's what I'm saying is like the IRS kind of cracked down on that a few years ago. So I think they do actually have to pay them money. But that's up to you to figure out if you're going to work for these companies.
Yeah.
So
I personally do not want to. I don't even want to be one running an event because you can sign up to be a DM or GM for people running role-playing games and such because I want my time.
Yeah.
I take a vacation from my day job with the expectation of not working for someone.
Yeah, we know a couple people that volunteer, and like I don't personally understand it, but
and then a few of our friends volunteered to run games last year. I'm sure there's some stuff with that.
Yeah, you told me about that.
that was kind of screwy.
So yeah, so like I know for sure True Dungeon is right now, and I believe Goodman Games is taking submissions for games to run, like in their area. I think that's how they're doing it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Is that who they were going through?
I believe so.
Was it Goodman Games really?
I believe so. Yeah,
That's kind of surprising.
I can double check.
Huh. I don't know. That's kind of surprising. I want a free belt buckle from those guys.
Are they the ones that did the?
They did the big raffle at the end.
No, it was. Do they have an adventure with a giant mechanical spider?
I mean, probably. Like they've got a bunch of zany adventures.
Because if it is, that's definitely it.
Well, anyway, I know for sure those two are doing something already. So if you're interested in going that route, you should already begin to looking into companies that you know are going to be there, and probably just go straight to their website or however you get to contact them. Try to get a hold of them, see if they need people. And then I believe there's also like a group that you can go into that handles like people for several different booths. I believe that's how it works. I'll have to ask Julius. He would know. So anyway, I think that's about all we've got for now. Chad, you got anything else for this version of events here? All right. So we'll try to put up, at the very least, a post reminding people like, hey, if you're wanting in the housing portal, get your badge here in a couple weeks, whenever that's relevant. Maybe a video. I don't know. Probably just that, though. So anyway, if that's all we got, let us know if you have any questions down in the comments. Because we do actually get questions on here. This is here in the BattleTech videos. We do actually get questions.
Yep. I will try to find out which game that my friends had a issue, like which company they had issues with last year, and if you guys want a video on what all happened there, we can do it, but I mean, stuff might have changed between then and now, and then and later this year, and all that. So,
yeah,
just what they experienced soured me to the idea of even doing anything like that.
Yeah. So anyway, we will definitely have some more videos. Like I said, we're going to do our assorted tips. That'll probably be a lot closer like to May. Although there's one we're going to give you right now, because it cannot be understated. Do not wait to the last minute to buy new shoes.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Like, buy them like a few months in advance so you can break them in. Okay?
Late May is the latest I would buy it.
Yeah,
New pair of shoes.
So somewhere around event registration is like, just consider that your cutoff point for new shoes too.
Yeah,
and make sure they're comfortable shoes.
Oh yeah.
Then, but yeah, other than that, that's most of our advice for the moment. We'll probably try to do a video once we have an idea of like events and stuff, and once we know stuff's coming out. So just kind of talk about some things we're looking forward to, and if there's any new hotness you should be on the lookout for. If you want to waste half your time being in line, so like the people did for Lorcana 2 years ago.
That's great. People complaining that people jumped the line when,
It's because there was no line.
GenCon don't do lines.
That's right. Can't jump the line if there's no line. That's not actually good advice, just to be clear, but like, that's reality. So, like I said, send any questions you got down in the comments. Anything else, any past experiences you want to talk about. But other than that, like, share, subscribe, sharing and commenting on the things that help us grow the channel the most. We always appreciate it. Keep an eye out for the other videos. They'll be spread out between now and August. Then afterwards, a bunch of videos from GenCon. So, in fact, I think I still need to put one together from GenCon last year. So, anyway, that's all we got. So, we'll be seeing you folks, hopefully, at the convention.